Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Micheal Petrow, and joining me on the show this week, returning guest, Krystal Snow comes back on the show. You might remember her from our Filmmakers podcast. Me, Alan Wong, Ian, and Krystal sat down to talk about what we love about film. And we had some directors and actor, obviously. It was a really good episode. You should go back and listen to it. This is her returning episode. So we talk about our shared love of Disneyland and Star Wars, what we're watching this week. She gives you a great breakdown on Stranger Things. Everybody's on Stranger Things except me. And then we talk about her new film, A Desperate Road, shot here in Winnipeg. Also directed by one returning guest as well, Cam Patterson. Directed A Desperate Road. You can watch this film on Tubi right now. It's a quick thriller. It's an hour and 20 minutes, filmed in Canada. Super fun. Great fucking ending. One of those endings that makes you sit up and go, I guess I'm not that big of a film buff after all because I didn't fucking see it coming. So that's who's on the show for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in the Interlake area over the weekend, specifically Friday, July 22nd, tomorrow night, to be really specific, we're going to be at the Gimli Film Fest talking to the lovely people Robert, Trevor, and Chris Christensen from Christensen Fish from the acclaimed Manitoba series Ice Vikings. We will be sitting down to do a panel with them at the film festival on the beach. Me and Jimmy have been asked to do this. We still don't know why, but we're very happy to do it. We're super excited. We're also going to get to talk to the production staff of Farpoint Films, the production company that shot this series. It was shot in -40 weather on Lake Winnipeg in the fucking cutting wind. If you're from Manitoba, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're one of our stateside Utah listeners, for example, it gets to be -40 up here, and they still fish in that weather. So that's where we will be, July 22nd, 7 p.m. on the beach in Gimli, Manitoba at the Gimli Film Festival. It's free. Just come down and see us, and we'll be hanging around after. As well, in August 5th and 19th, we'll be at Movies in the Park at Assiniboine Park. We will have a table. We will be talking about the movies that will be playing on the big screen at the Lyric Stage. If you see us and you'd like to come over and share your opinion on said movie, then come on over. We're real friendly. We'll have an open mic for you. The movies that will be playing, I believe the 5th is Sing 2 and The Eternals, and then the 19th is Moana and Spider-Man No Way Home. So those are our upcoming events. To stay in the know, subscribe to one of our social channels, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook will do the trick. Everything that we advertise that we do is on those 3 platforms. TikTok's just for the silliness, the funny, the dumbassery that we be a part of. So if you just want to watch that, that's cool too, but we don't put anything up there about what we are doing out in the good world of Manitoba. I have nothing else for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. So I give you Krystal Snow, a lovely conversation with her. She's such a fucking great time. Thanks again for coming on, Krystal. I super appreciate it. I got nothing else for you. I'll cue that reel. You enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everybody, to the official space section of the chart.
Sir, you're out of order. Out of order. I show you out of order.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real Debaters podcast. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to where we love to ask our dumbass question, where real life meets real life. I am Micheal Petrow, and I have a guest today, a returning guest. Never mind. I love it.
Right.
I love when we get to put like more ticks next to the name, right? Doug Morrow's the winner right now.
Is he?
He is. He's done 2. You've done 2. You guys are actually tied. It's not a big race.
I feel like one of us is going to be the Tom Hanks SNL winner of
The first
this.
5-timers? Yeah, I'll get a jacket for you guys.
Okay, great.
Just give me your sizing after we leave. My guest is Krystal Snow, who, if you are a seasoned fan, which you should be by now, was on our Filmmakers episode pre-Oscars. We gave all of our Oscar predictions. We talked about our favorite monologues, right?
That's right.
No.
No, we talked about our favorite cameos.
Our favorite cameos. That's it. Yes, monologues is recent. Sorry. There's so many episodes.
And it's crazy because mine was Ivana Trump.
That's right. She just passed away.
That's right.
That's right.
Today.
Ivana Trump, Home Alone.
Yeah.
right?
No, it was
Nope.
in the First Wives Club.
That's sorry.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop talking out of school here, and I'll leave the website to tell what's on the episodes.
But weird.
So she was on the show with us, and we should talk about a couple Oscar things. I mean, we said we were going to.
That's true.
And Ian's been filming and doing his thing, and Alan's doing the Gimli Film Fest. So I'm like, you know what? You had a new film. That was the whole reason you're here.
That's right.
I watched it last night. I watched the ending 3 times.
Really?
I don't want to ruin it for anybody. We won't get there because I want people to go get traction on it. But I had to watch it 3 times because I was like, where did I not catch this?
Right.
That really, I was fucking duped. So we'll get into that.
Good.
But first and foremost, thank you for coming back.
I am so excited to be here.
my she didn't get to see the upstairs last time, and for everybody out there who listens to the show, you know that Shauna is a ridiculous interior decorator. And you were just like,
I had to stand in the room for like a good 30 seconds and soak it in. Because it's like all the things you think you'd want, but you wouldn't know where to put them. Like they're so cool and artistic, and the antlers, but they're properly placed and everything's so perfect. It's like, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, welcome to our silly cavern of OCD.
Yes.
I should take pictures and put it online because we've talked about it so much. And I don't show it off, right?
See, and this room here that you all can't see is just covered in movie posters and hilarious little movie things and lamps with Ninja Turtles climbing up them. And my living room, when I moved into my house, I was like, I'm going to be an adult. And when I move into my new house, I'm going to make an adult room. And then I realized I don't have any adult things. So I just have my
Right?
Indiana Jones poster and my ET clock
Right?
and my lightsaber. And
Right?
yes, I mean, I just couldn't, I don't have adult like things to put in there. So
No, I totally agree with you. Like it got to the point where I'm like, all I have are nerd things, and if I'm going to start buying adult things, it's costing too much money.
Yeah.
And my nerd things will grow in value. So
and I'm just going to get more.
Exactly.
So what's the point of just pretending?
Mark on the show, stupid into comic books right now. And he's got some really big deal comic books, but he's like, I never had the money when I was a kid to get into this, and now I have all the money in the world to burn on it. So it's like, you know what?
It's a
like,
dangerous combination.
Well, we're both Disney adults,
Yes.
so I think that's where it comes from.
Yes.
We're hated.
I know.
There's such a fucking online hate for Disney
why
adults.
Is that?
I think it's because it's not built for us, and we can maximize the pleasure out of it the most.
Maybe.
So what is acceptable is families and kids, and when families with kids see other families with kids, it's
right.
It's
That's
this, like,
normal.
It's normal.
But when it's you're just an adult, people are like, why are you here?
Yeah, they get weird
They get weird. I'm going in just 3 weeks.
because you do your yearly pilgrimage.
Well, I do, but
right?
this isn't actually it. This is a crazy thing. Short. I'll make it short, but
No,
it's
we
our
got all the
friends.
time in the world.
It's our friends' 25th anniversary, and they have rented out a portion of Islands of Adventure, the superhero island, for their party. And then they told us that an icon will be playing. So we don't know who's playing and what this part, like, it's just going to be crazy. And I guess the next night they're having a luau at their St. Petersburg house on the beach. And we haven't figured out a way to get to Tampa and like stay there. So I've got 2 free park hopper passes to Disney. So we're going to go Star Wars Land because I haven't done Rise of the Resistance yet. And we're going to just
I fucking
do it.
hate it. I hate you so much.
No,
'Cause
but I've been to the park and I've seen it
Yeah.
roped off and it says private party. And I'm always like, who is that? And now that's going to be me. I'm going to be in there.
The 300 Club. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, Club 300.
Yeah.
It's Club. It's only 2 numbers. It's not 55. It's in the
30. It's underground, isn't
33.
it? That's it.
Yes.
33. Yeah.
Yes. Have you been there?
No. I've
I got really excited.
I've heard things.
Yeah.
And it's like it's the creme de la creme of Disney.
Yeah.
It's
there's like a 5-year waiting list to get in, and then it's like an annual fee of like $100,000 to keep your pass or something just to eat there.
Just to have, and it's like I know. I've heard on podcasts people have been for events.
Yes.
And it's fantastic, but it's not like it's Disney food. Like it's one step above a turkey leg.
Right. Yeah. It's just the fact that no one else can go except these elite people, and so people are like, I'm amazing. But they've built other ones now. Because it's the only ones in Disneyland. Yeah. But now they've built ones in Disney Worlds. And they built one, I think, somewhere else. They've expanded, so it doesn't feel as like I need to go there now.
Exclusive anymore.
Yeah, they kind of ruined it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just jealous that you get to go to Rise of the Resistance because I was there 2 months before it opened. So
and I was there 3 months before it opened.
yeah, we were there around the exact same time. So I'm just like, I'm walking by it and there's security and there's gates and I'm just like, this is not, this can't be happening.
It feels wrong. It feels like a nightmare.
Yeah. And I'm like, I just got off the Millennium Falcon and I'm still not happy. Like, what a fucking spoiled rotten child I
need to see
am.
like 40 stormtroopers staring at me in a row.
It's nuts. It's like 18 minutes.
I know. And I haven't watched any videos because I want to because I want to be surprised. So I haven't seen any videos. I just know that everyone that's come off it is like, it's one of the best theme park rides ever. So
yeah,
I know. That is if I can get on it. Who knows? I mean, we're there for one day and you have to get up at 7 now and you have to book all these things. I mean, it's not just like walk in and like there's literally like probably podcasts about how to get on Rise of the Resistance.
I just played Pouty Child when I went. I asked if I could get in the single ride line and they said it's closed until this line clears out. And I said, can I wait here? And I put my big lip down. And then within about 3 minutes, she was like, is it just you and your girlfriend? I said, yeah. She said, get on the ride.
Is that Millennium Falcon?
Millennium Falcon. I got on the Millennium Falcon.
Were you the pilot?
I got beat by 2 9-year-olds.
Oh, I know. I rode it 4 times and never got to be the pilot. I was never even in the front row. I was always in the back.
Never wanted to kick out. Did you do cargo?
Yeah.
I had to do cargo too. I was like, I'm just going to push a fucking button on the wall.
I know. And I was trying, like, because you want to get into it and they're telling you to push buttons and buttons are lighting up. But then you're not paying attention to the actual thing.
Yeah.
So it's great. But also, if you're not in the front, you're kind of ducking. Like, I feel bad for like the people in the back.
100%.
Like,
I was so and like I went to go like because they were like handing out the cards and then this mom was like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yes.
Throwing bows and I'm like,
know.
Okay, I'm not gonna get kicked out of the park today.
And every time I get in line, I'm like, this is it. This is where I'm gonna become the pilot. And then they're like handing me like commander. I don't know what the names of them are, but I was just like,
there was
this is
pilot,
stupid.
cargo, I think like communications and then like radar.
Yeah, it's
because
like,
you have to jam the ship behind you.
Right.
Look at everybody. You don't need to go now. You've got our play-by-play.
Yeah, you don't need to go. It's like not fun.
It's not fun.
Don't go wait in line.
No.
Just let us be the only ones in line.
So, as you know, we love to talk about what we watch, what we consume, because that's how we find out what we should watch. There's so much fucking content out there now.
It's crazy.
That, like, I'm just like, okay, I trust your opinion. Tell me what you watch. So the 4 of us just do that, and that keeps us all in the know. So, what the fuck are you watching?
Okay, so I just watched in 1 week, the last 2 seasons of Stranger Things. So after season 2, when season 3 came out, I'm like, oh, I'm going to wait. And then it was out. And then it kind of just got lost in the shuffle of other things I was watching. And then I'm working on a show right now and all the stunt guys are like talking about it. I'm like, don't talk. Okay, I got to do a thing. So after I came home from Folk Fest Sunday, I was there Saturday. All I wanted to do was just
watch 2 hours at a time.
Yeah. So I just burned through the whole season of season 3. And then season 4, I was watching it every chance I get. Like I'm doing my makeup. I put up my little iPad and I'm watching it. I was like,
active watching.
I was in. Well, it's exciting because I just, in this last 6 months, worked with David Harbour and I worked with Natalie Dyer. So I'm like, this is so cool. I mean, I've met these people now and I've just worked with them. And so
what shoot was that again? Pardon my.
So Violent Night.
Violent Night, thank you.
Violent Night was David Harbour as Santa. And then Natalie Dyer, I just did stunts on with, and it was All Fun and Games.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
My day job, which we really don't mention because I just don't want to be. I assume people will follow me. That's the reason. I don't want them showing up at work being like, Michael from The Real Debaters. It's just my arrogance. No. But yeah, no. All Fun and Games. Yeah, I know all these films.
Yeah.
How was working with Harbour?
We'll
put a pin in what you watched for a second.
Okay. So honestly, he is just this. He's huge. If everyone doesn't know, I mean, yes, he looks huge next to the kids and Winona Ryder, but he is huge. Like he is so tall and he is broad.
Yes.
And he's just and also he was dressed as Santa in this elaborate leather Santa costume, which was so beautiful. And he was barely on set. And when he was on set, he was like always on the phone talking to someone about like what else he's doing. I think he's just so busy right now. I had one moment with him. It was nighttime and we were out in the middle of a field and we had trailers and he's dressed as Santa and he's just walking towards me. And I'm dressed as Beverly D'Angelo's character, right? The mom. And I'm walking towards him and I just went, hello. And he went, hi. And that was like my David Harbour moment. And
We're
I
good.
was like,
We're good.
sweet. Like he said hello back to me. I mean, we're friends now. But he is absolutely amazing to watch. Like when I got sent the script and I read it, I was laughing out loud. I was like, this could be a Christmas classic if it's done right. And I think it was.
I've heard up against Die Hard 2.
I mean, to
That's
me,
what
it's
they
like
want to
Die
do with
Hard
this.
meets Home Alone. Like that's how I felt about it. It was like and when I read the script, I already knew David Harbour was cast, and I heard his voice when I listened to Santa, and I was like, oh my God, yes. Like this is going to be so good. I'm just so excited for it. I think it's going to be very cool. And I do have
Christmas release, right?
Had a little part in it as well. So I was doubling, but then I also played a maid in it, did a little stunt day.
Can you talk about what the basic premise is of it? Or is that,
I'm not really sure. I'm sure there's a contract I signed somewhere that prevents me from.
Okay, I don't have
doing
enough money
that.
to get sued, so we can.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that Die Hard meets Home Alone is like kind of all you need to know.
I think so.
Because it's like
Those are
just
two cult
so
classics.
action. There's so much. It's hilarious and funny, and there's blood everywhere, and it's great.
That's what we live for.
And it's David Harbour and John Leguizamo, and like it's just great.
I heard Leguizamo was just a dream. Like he's just a nice guy.
It's amazing. I honestly like knew nothing about his backstage presence, and then I worked on set. And there was this one night where we were all in the basement. It was all the like these kind of SWAT teamy guys and Leguizamo and stuff, and it was minus like 35 out. And he sat in the basement and basically just entertained us for hours. Like he just cracked jokes, and then I remember sitting beside him in the trailer, and he's talking about the Oscars to someone. And I'm just like, oh yeah, the Oscars are coming up. That's right. And then all of a sudden I see him at the Oscars, and I was like, oh, he's not like me talking about the Oscars. Like he was going to present at the Oscars.
Yeah, he had a job to do.
Yeah. He was opening the Bruno because he's Bruno, right?
We don't talk about Bruno. No.
Which is the most addictive song ever.
It really fucking Lin-Manuel
such an
Miranda.
earworm.
I tell
I
you,
know.
guy knows how to write a fucking tune.
He does. He knows how to earworm that stuff.
Right? That will be up there with Woody.
Yes.
And Buzz, right? Like in the Disney world of
think
things,
so.
I think that is Bruno is going to be one of those.
And I think what Disney missed on a few of their things was kids connect to music, and they connect to songs and catchy songs, and they made these great movies like Brave and Raya and the Last Dragon. I think there might be a couple. One of my favorites, Meet the Robinsons. But what they didn't do was make them musicals. And I think that's they get brushed under, and they kind of get like, they're not forgotten, but they're just never become these like frozen hits.
I mean, Tarzan survives because of Phil Collins.
Right.
But Hercules is also a musical too.
Hercules is great.
Next live action, actually.
Oh yeah.
That's their next pick.
Really? I'm okay with that one.
So am I. I want to see who they pick for the three divas to sing, right? Like who? Like I think Lizzo.
Bless my soul.
Right?
Yeah.
You get Lizzo. You get.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And even Lizzo with like two backup singers would be fucking perfect for that role.
Oh, I'm loving that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever's casting that at Disney.
Or is it going to
call
be
me.
like, it could be like Beyonce.
Yeah.
It could be, I mean, you never
Mary
know.
J.
Yes.
Right? Like
you just
really
need that soulful voice, and
you need to find the three most soulful known like Motown voices that are still alive.
Yes.
From now and then 30 years ago and then 60 years ago, and then have it all represented on the screen.
Ugh.
Right.
That gets me excited.
Yeah.
I wasn't excited about like Little Mermaid. I'm just like, all these live actions are, I don't know, whatever.
When Pumbaa is a real warthog,
I never saw it.
and
But he's not.
and it's an animal talking like a human.
Mm-hmm.
It's like something out of Black Mirror. It's
Yes.
not fun, but when Pumbaa is like animated and stupid, and it's Nathan Lane and whoever is playing it and not Seth Rogen, it's so much more fun to watch.
I know.
So you're just like, you're trying to do that thing where you anthropomorphize a thing.
Yeah.
Is that how you say that word?
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
It is now. But like, it just was weird. So yeah.
I know. I skipped it because I was like, you know what? I don't need to relive this story in some weird like CGI world that was perfect. Like I don't need you to do that for me.
Are you going to put sex in the leaves when they flop for me, just like they did in the first one? Right?
I know.
Is there going to be a penis on the cover of the Little Mermaid DVD?
Know. Oh, do you remember like they said that if you watched the end, there was some sort of clip at the end when the Ursula is like when her belly lights up with lightning and she's getting stabbed with the ship or whatever, that like there was also something in there that if you like,
I never knew that one.
Yeah, I'm sure if you look it up.
There was also the heart on the pre-scout when they were marrying them. You're just like, what are you doing,
yeah,
animator?
That one was pretty.
The penis has always been explained as the trailer art went to the 11th hour. And the guy was like up till 4 a.m. and he just got so tired that he didn't shade properly. So it was just an accidental penis.
Oh, like somebody's found this out from the animator.
It's been debunked as the guy. It's one of those like, is it true or not things on BuzzFeed.
That's great.
And I went and Googled it after and it's like, yes, he did confirm that he was like, I'm sorry. It wasn't on purpose. Like we weren't trolling. God. It was just.
That makes me feel better.
4 a.m. and I drew a penis.
I always wondered what like. And how that got past people.
I've always known Disney to be very right wing.
Yeah,
like they're very family. They're very religion.
They're having quite the battle down in Florida with the governor and stuff, right? Like they've taken away their property rights.
Reedy
Creek.
The Reedy Creek. Not a lot of people, for listener, Reedy Creek is how Disney gets to do whatever the fuck they want.
Yep.
And it's because they bought so much land that the state of Florida was like, well, this is less shit we have to worry about with tax dollars, so you pay for it.
Yeah.
And all those tax dollars that never got collected, which is weird. This is America.
Yeah.
All those tax dollars that never got collected all of a sudden are owed.
Yeah.
Like they're not owed. They were paid by, like, Disney put the money into the land.
Right.
So you can't go after the people who live in Orange, which is the neighboring fuck. Nobody else knows this shit.
I know it all.
But all those people are like on the lam for this tax bill, and it's like Ron DeSantis. It's a voting year, motherfucker.
Totally. Just because they were against your bill.
Yeah.
Like it's
like he's a dick. But if he wants to stay in power, you've gone after the state's biggest employer.
And I mean, I've been down there, and those I think that's the one thing that I've always been like, it's when you go to Florida. It's not like Florida's great.
Yeah.
But sometimes the people that are in that park sometimes are like, where did you come from? They can get crazy down there.
Yeah, no.
People
Florida man, Florida woman,
yes,
Florida man.
Yes.
Florida man eats another man on freeway. Florida woman shoots 42 apes. Like it's always these outlandish stories.
The night that the employee said was the worst night ever that they all tried to get off was the Christian Music Festival night. They said it was the worst night of the year. That was the night where people skipped lines and got into fights, and they were like, no, don't make me work that day. And my mom and I happened to be there one year over that time when we didn't know, and it was a weird place. Like it felt like I was like, oh, and people had hand stitched psalm things on their bags, and I was like, oh my god,
like Jesus fish and what would Jesus do everywhere? Yeah,
I just felt alienated. I was like, I don't know what to do.
I'm gonna burn in hell.
Yeah, totally.
I'm gonna go to the fucking Fairy Princess Castle and burn in hell.
Yeah, I was like, I don't belong here.
Okay, so you're watching Stranger Things.
Yeah, back to the circle. We're circling around.
Whatever. You brought up David Harbour, and I can't not be like, what's the man like?
He's so. Oh God,
he just
he's
looks
just
like
so talented.
He looks like a hug.
He does look like a hug. I wish that I had stopped him and just hugged him, but that was
weird.
I mean,
he
would have been oh, what?
It's the Santa outfit. You can't put a Santa outfit on and not have people want to come at you.
Man, he's just and honestly, the 4th season of he got really handsome.
He dropped some weight.
Yeah, and then his shaved head. I was like, this is a very good look for you.
No, I firmly agree with you on that. I don't watch Stranger Things.
You don't watch Sorry, what? Wait,
I know.
You don't watch Stranger Things?
There's this assumption that because one starts a movie podcast that they watch everything, and to my point earlier that there's so much fucking content. I am in a battle with my anxiety. And my anxiety is not going to win when it comes to, did you watch this? Did you watch that? I'm like, I'm going to watch it eventually. So I know how great it is. I know how I watched the first 2 seasons. I gave it. I know 11. I know what she can do, but it just kind of.
Did you lose it after season 2? Because this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
I watched season 2 and I was like, I'll watch season 3 later when it all comes out. And then I was kind of like, I don't know what else they're going to do. Like the Upside Down, do I care anymore? That's kind of how I felt. And then I downloaded a few episodes in case I had some extra time in my trailer. And I didn't. And I was very upset because I'd start watching them. And I'm like, what? I have to go to set and do my job. I'm watching Stranger Things in here. But
Crystal's moving. She's on her way to set.
Yeah. And I was, and then all of a sudden I was right back in it. And I was like, I love this again. I just couldn't stop watching it. I wanted to watch it at all times. It's so good. And it just, because I'm an 80s kid. So the
what they're doing with nostalgia,
it's beautiful.
it's what Karate Kid has, right? It's what all these requels and reboots of like what they tried to do in 90210 and what they are trying to do with Scream and all these things. They're trying to inject youth into it, but with this, it is youth.
Yeah.
It's just someone else's youth, but they're signaling the adults to the 80s.
And it's great because I think that these sometimes shows, because I'm getting older now and I'm maybe getting a little tinge of bitterness. Sometimes I just hate watching things with like teenagers in it. And
So do I.
I'm just like, can't relate to you. It's not your fault. I just don't know what you're talking about anymore. And I don't care. And you're young and beautiful and remind me that I'm getting old and dying.
Yeah.
So,
I look at Finn Wolfhard and I'm like, oh yeah, you don't have 3 chins, motherfucker. Right? You don't even have one.
Stranger Things, like those kids are so good.
Yeah.
That I actually believe that they are in this time period and that they are like me. Like I don't think about them like I do in other shows. Like I actually feel like I'm watching a 80s kids. And season 3, it all takes place in this mall. And it's called the Starlight or Star something. And honestly, that mall looked like every mall. And you remember when you used to go to the mall? And it was like you were like, rat. You want to go to the mall and hang out? Of course, you were a mall rat.
Yeah.
And you'd go to like the arcade and you'd spend 3 hours in there and then you'd meet all your friends in the cafe. I mean, that's it. It was perfect. Like it was just everything I wanted. And they found this not abandoned. I guess there was only like 3 stores open in it. That had never changed since the 80s. And then they redid it and it looks just like you want it to look.
Is the mall aspect Dawn of the Deadish per se? Taking place in a mall, just like how Dawn of the Dead took place in a mall.
Yeah.
Just
I guess
no
there could be
zombie.
alluding to that for sure. Yeah. I mean, because it all happens in the mall at the end, right? So it's like spoiler alert, but yeah. So it's.
Is it the same? Like, does the Upside Down? Rob talked about this before, and I want to, but the Upside Down just didn't grab me. And what I liked was the Matthew Modine CIA line. Does that get explored more? Because that's what had me at the beginning, was that this was a portal and a project done by a group of fucking idiot men who think that this
is the crazy thing about season 3 and season 4 is that you never know if the writers wrote this amazing season. They went, shit, what do we do? But season 4 makes you think that all the things from the first season, like they're all explained in season 4. Like what the Upside Down is,
so they do
who
come
the
back
Mind
to
Flayer is, like what all that stuff was about. I mean, it all comes around. And so I was talking about it today.
Now, fuck.
I was talking about it today with BJ, and BJ and I were both like, and he goes, yeah, did they write a first season? And like, maybe they just were like, shit, what do we do? But it's like, I was so into it because they explained everything you wanted to know. But the good part about season 3 and season 4 is like, there's not a ton of that like Mind Flayer, like underground worlds upside down. It's not the first 2 seasons I kind of thought relied on that. It was just like Hawkins and the Upside Down and that.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, I feel like explores. It hops continents.
And this was season 5?
Season 4.
This was season 4. Okay.
4 is out
right.
now,
Well,
yeah.
that's not a lot of work. I got 2 seasons. Okay. And like the 2-hour thing, did you like that?
The last episode?
Yeah.
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 I put it on last night. I just finished it last night. I was cooking dinner at 6:30. I put it on. Didn't know how long it was. And then at like 9 o'clock, I'm like, oh, this is still on. This is a full movie. I love when they do that, though.
I do too.
I love it.
Movie magic and television.
Yes.
It doesn't belong there. It's weird because of the pacing, right? Like you've got less time where they're like, okay, we're now going to make a movie out of a thing that has always been 25% less because we have an hour to fill.
And I think too, what they've evolved from the first season to the last season is that in the beginning there was a lot of like in your face nostalgia because they wanted you to feel the nostalgia.
They want to get their hooks in you.
Right. Like they were there just for nostalgia reasons. Whereas I feel like it feels more like you're just in the 80s now without them like putting like a special cereal box in the front or like, you know what I mean? Splashing that
Ghostbusters pack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not doing that. They're just sort of like, this is where we are now. And it's still mixed in, but it's not so in your face.
Like, see, I also have a thing, and this is my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Millie Bobby Brown just has a look like something bad has happened to her in the industry, and every time I look at her, I'm like, you're too old, you're too intense for your age. Like you just turned 18, and this might be a me thing, but when I watch the show, I immediately I'm like, and I don't want it to be true. But I just this thing in me where I'm like, maybe I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I mean, like, she's extremely talented, and she does seem like she's
I loved
way
her
older than she is.
in the Godzilla sequel. I loved her.
Oh,
right?
I didn't see that.
Like she's everything I've watched her in. Like I caught half of Enola Holmes. Like she's very fucking
You're
charming.
right. Yeah, she is in that. That's great.
You know, and like you don't have a lot of time to do other shit because you're doing this. But you know, I just something inside of me is like maybe what I mean is maybe she's being worked too hard.
Oh,
maybe she's
like Judy Garland,
right? Like I'm not saying the Harvey Weinstein version of this story.
Right.
I'm just saying something in the industry is working that 18-year-old too hard, and I get a guilty sense, and I've never got that before. And I'm looking at children.
And I think it's too because she has so much to do in that show. It's not like she's having fun.
She's
not
the
like
lead.
the other kids don't have fun in that show, or I mean, aren't working hard. But I mean, she has the hardest of that entire show. She is constantly crying. She is constantly getting thrown around and like yelled at, and like she's
painting with
still
a full
a kid.
palette.
Yeah, she's still a kid, and she's ridiculously good. Like that kid cries on cue.
I see interviews with her, and I'm like, you're posturing, and you're in the system, and I'm like, you're still a kid.
Yeah.
Like do not lose this battle to this industry because it's such a fucking fine sword for kids. Like when you're older and you're more well adjusted, but so that's also a thing for me too. And it's a dumb thing. I know it is.
No,
like
it's not. You care.
I do. I'm like, and it's just because you know how Netflix is. It's not so much how the industry is. It's Netflix is turn and burn.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And they're a lot. It's not a bad thing. It's just their model. So
Is it true? Are they gonna like start doing ads and charging you like more money?
Yeah,
if you
that's
don't
what they're
want
saying.
ads?
I mean, like you could get the ad-free package, which will be like $3 more, I'm sure, or you could get the skinny package, which will be like ads all the time, or there'd be like a middle of the way where it's like 2 ads instead of 4, right? Like Tubi does 4, Stack does 3 to 4,
right?
Netflix doesn't do any, Crave doesn't do any for HBO. Like they don't even do their own commercial programming unless you're streaming live.
They do like an intro.
They'll do. It's exactly like watching HBO live cable,
right?
But they have to. I don't know why.
Maybe they could just stop producing so much shit.
I don't know why it's so related to the pandemic. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, it's like more people were watching than ever before, and then maybe you had to produce more. I don't know.
But at that point, it wasn't like Netflix was the only game in town.
Yeah, no.
So if you had never gone streaming, if you were somebody who just doesn't stream and has normal cable, but then you're like, well, I'm packed in all the time and cable's getting boring. Did you just default to Netflix?
Right.
And then when life came back to normal, you got off? Like, was it because like Skip the Dishes? I have friends there. They made a fuck ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because of a situation.
For sure.
It wasn't a marketing situation. It was just reaction.
Yeah.
So did people react to just going to Netflix instead of Disney, Crave, Prime, Tubi, Plex, any of them? Did they just go, well, it's Netflix or bust, and now it's I'm back out in life, no more Netflix?
Right, and now Netflix is hurting.
That was 2
Will we
years of
ever
fucking
know?
profits that they probably didn't anticipate.
Right, yeah. And then they probably were trying to make more content, and content was harder to make because there were so many rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
And that's the thing about Netflix. As much as they sometimes get a fucking hit like Stranger Things,
Yeah,
they're
there's enough.
still a corporation making movies, not a studio.
Yeah. I find it hard sometimes to get on there and find something I actually want to watch. That's why I have like 5 or 6 other streaming things because like the things that I'm interested in, there's just so many more things that I'm not interested in.
I'm $130 a month all in on channels and streamings.
Yeah.
Which people are still paying $250 for cable.
Oh yeah, I know. We have it.
Why?
Well, because I share a house with my parents, and so we split the bills 4 ways. So it's not really that much money. And my dad's got to have his golf channel and his hunting channel. Like old school, he doesn't even know how to. He couldn't figure out how to use any of the streaming services.
Yeah,
no, he has no idea, and he just likes everything live. Like he likes someone telling him what to watch, which I get. Sometimes I'll spend half an hour trying to find something on one of my streaming services, and then be like, "Screw it, I'm going to bed."
I love it. Okay, how many? Is it Demogorgon? Is that what they call it?
Demogorgons.
How many Demogorgons out of 10 do you give the last season of Stranger Things?
I mean, it had me pretty good. I'm gonna give it 8.5 Demogorgons.
Ooh, that's a good score.
Yeah, no, I
gave that to Top Gun, but then I
really liked
downgraded
it.
to a 7.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Like as you thought about it more, or
yeah, as I thought about it, I was like, I'm giving this the same score I would give like Dances with Wolves, which is an insult to Dances with Wolves, right? So I was like, yeah, it's an 8.5 out of 10 because my emotions are involved, and I fell for the temple that is Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
but cinematically, that's all it is. It's just fucking crazy shots in planes.
Yeah,
the
I
story
heard it's
is
amazing.
What you can't not feel like you're in a plane in this movie.
Maybe I'll go see it.
But it's a carbon copy of one.
Right.
Right.
Which is what they do.
Yeah.
Now.
Like every trope, every gimmick, every setup is
volleyball, shirts off.
It is dogfight football, which is offense and defense at the same time.
Oh wow.
But it's volleyball,
Yeah.
right? Shirts off on the beach.
Yeah, I mean it had to happen.
I have chewed through so much stuff that I really haven't talked about on the show just because we have 4 of us, so I don't get a lot of list
well,
time.
what have you been watching?
Westworld is fucking ridiculous.
What? Oh, I gave up after they rented the real world. I was like, I don't want to know. I like the fake world.
Okay, so overall narrative.
Yeah.
First season, get them in the park.
Right.
Second season, scan their brain.
Mm-hmm.
Get their data.
Mm-hmm.
Find out what makes consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Third season, plug it into a computer. Try to control society.
Ooh.
Fourth season, you now have it in society and you've exchanged real people for hosts. So now you've got commandable people in positions around the world that have been their real version. Their human version has been taken out. Their consciousness from their human self has been reinserted into the host, put back into society as a placeholder. You don't know the difference. And that person is now at the helm of a program.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
That's where you're at with this season. And a lot of people didn't like 3 because of what happened, because they went out into the real world and it got away from the park because it was 2 seasons in the park.
Yeah, I stopped watching after what's her name?
Dolores goes to the real world and then has to...
You know what? Maybe I did watch some of that season. I think I did.
Did you see anything with Aaron Paul? Because he's season 3.
Yeah,
okay.
I did. Okay,
right,
I saw some of that. I don't think I watched it all, though.
So, spoiler alert, it turns into, they find out how to... This one guy buys the data from the park and then wants to change the world,
this.
Right?
Yes, okay.
And then what it does is it's reconditioning the 1%ers who don't fall in line, and then keeping all of the drones, right, all the worker bees, so the rest of us, in their loops because they're being controlled by this supercomputer, Rehoboam, telling them how to be in life, right?
Very
like it's all predicted. It's data. It's actuarian.
It reminds me of that. I watched that Brave New World.
Yeah, very much the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Isaac
thinking
Asimov,
of right now.
1984.
Yeah. Did you see the show?
I watched a couple episodes because Brave New World was a big book for me.
Yeah.
The pill thing was really weird. I always imagined birth control.
The little click things.
The little click things, right?
Yeah.
But it had what's his face from Game of Thrones. It had Daenerys' brother.
That's right. Yeah.
But I just couldn't get hooked.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it all, but like I think the last season or the last episode, sorry, I kind of watched it while I was doing other things. You know, when a show gets like that, that's always my signal that like it didn't get me, because I want to finish it and find out what happens, when I'm just putting it.
They canceled it
aside. I mean, I didn't know it went any further. I just assumed it was like.
No, it was supposed to be like probably 4 or 5.
Oh,
seasons.
really? Oh, Demi Moore's in it too.
Really?
Yeah, she looks weird. Maybe you didn't even notice her. She plays his mom in the first 2 episodes. Like.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she just looks so strange now that she's had so much work done.
They're also back in the park for Westworld. They go back.
Oh.
Because.
Okay, there. All right. You
like,
got me.
The man in black from season 3 realized that building the park and stealing the data, and realized the errors of his ways, and was like, I'm going to fucking save the world. And
this is Ed Harris?
This is Ed Harris's character. Which then, at that point, they've perfected the thing they perfected fidelity from season 2. Remember when they were trying, the guy would like break down?
Yeah.
They've perfected it. And then in the end of 3, you finally realize, is the man in black a program or not? Is he a host or is he human?
He's mystified me forever. Like, who is he? What is he doing? What does he want?
Both.
Cool.
They have made him.
Ooh.
He's the first one. And they made him.
So he has someone else's consciousness. He's a real person, but now he's
hooked up to a computer being fed into his host self. And what has happened is that during the course of 3, Dolores thought to get back at everybody, she would make multiple copies of herself. And she would insert herself into multiple people you've seen in the show before and then activate them, and you'd realize it's Dolores 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, right? Well, one of the Doloreses is in Charlotte Hale, the boss, Tiffany, what's her face from Thor?
She's the
CEO. She's Valkyrie.
Yep.
Anyways, she's in it, and she put a copy of Dolores in Charlotte, and what you ended up getting was Charloris. You got a Charlotte body with a Dolores brain, and that version of Dolores breaks and turns into the Wyatt character that she was in season 1 when she shot everybody.
Yeah.
That's what controls that version of Dolores, and she gets angry at herself for doing what she did to herself. So she's like, I'm going to end the original Dolores, and creates this super huge plan with Ed Harris, and it's the robots taking over.
Which is like everyone's fear.
Yeah. Essentially is Terminator 2.
Right.
Just in a grander scale.
That sounds good.
Yeah. They go into, they have a World War II park in 3. They have a 1940s Prohibition park in 4 right now.
There's new parks?
Because what you end up finding out is there's like a Delos stack. It's like each level is a different park. So they had Westworld, then in the end of Westworld going into 2, you got Roman World and Raj World, which were briefly shown, which were like Roman bathhouses and like Julius Caesar era.
Sweet.
And then Raj was India in like the 1800s,
I remember this now.
right? Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So in Totem, there's like 6 or 7 parks.
Remember that one.
There's Shogun World from season 3 where they go to ancient Japan, like, and it's the same. The best part is that you'll notice in each season, it's the same fucking story in each park.
And you know what? This all circles back to Walt Disney's vision.
Right? Animatronics.
Well, it's just, and it's also like a hub. Like, what is Disney World? It's a hub with a castle in the middle. And then there's what, like a Westworld called Frontierland. And
right.
Then there's an Adventureland and a Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
And like an Animal Kingdom where it's an Indian. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of all.
The hat scanning thing, when they turned it to data,
mm-hmm.
and it all being about global control and human manipulation and stuff, I was like, I can't stop watching this show.
That's so good. Well, I'll definitely watch it now.
Yeah,
no, I definitely will.
3 episodes.
You've sold me.
Sold me. Shortly, out of 10, I would give Westworld right now. It's gone back to ones, like back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
I would give it. I'll give it like 7.5, almost 8. Men in Blacks. That's what I'll give it.
7 Men in Blacks.
Did you ever see the movie, like the Westworld movies?
No, I never did.
Oh man, they're from the 70s.
I'll watch anything from the 70s.
Josh Brolin's dad is the lead.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
And Yul Brynner is the Man in Black. And
really?
like he glitches.
The king himself?
Yeah, and then so Westworld and Future World of the movies. It was Michael Crichton's first crack at directing, which it's a piece of shit, but like it's so much fun to enjoy.
Oh my god.
And they like
is it on one of your streaming services?
It might be on Tubi.
Oh, okay.
Like it'll definitely be deep on a free site.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine it would be. You know what? Maybe it is on HBO. Like it would make sense.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it somewhere. I mean, I also have BritBox and Acorn TV, and
you'll find it.
I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
iTunes will definitely.
I just also
have
finished
it.
Peaky Blinders. Do you watch Peaky Blinders?
I tried.
Oh, is it too slow?
No,
sad?
no. I tried because I love Tom Hardy, and I. Really,
although you can never understand what he says.
No,
I love him too, but like. God damn it.
I thought that was a Christopher Nolan thing.
No, it's a Tom Hardy thing.
Okay.
Because you can't understand anything he says in Peaky Blinders either. He's just always like, and you're like, what are you saying? We're always trying to decipher what he's saying.
You can only be handsome for so long, Tom, before we need to hear your dialogue.
I know. He did that one, what was it, Spy versus Spy or something? Or
yes.
This Means War?
With
Means War.
Chris
yes.
Pine.
Yeah. And he was like, nope, that's not for me. He's like, I thought I should try at least doing like a...
Nope.
No. And he was like, no, never again. I can only do things where I mumble.
I also put away The Terminal List. I have one more episode of that. That's Chris Pratt's new Navy SEAL show on Prime.
It's a series. I just assumed it was a movie for some reason.
It's Reacher on steroids.
Really? And I finally watched Reacher.
Ah!
And then I was so excited because I had a couple days on the show that was here with him. And then I got COVID. And then I got canceled.
Fuck.
Yeah, I literally got COVID while I was, I didn't know I had it, but I kind of started feeling that like a little bit, I got a scratchy throat, but I never thought anything of it.
That's the word. I heard he was like such a giant pack of muscles in love. Like,
yeah, I know. I heard he was awesome.
His Instagram shit.
I know, with Winnipeg. I
was
know.
like world's
So
worst
nice.
cooking show. And like, I'm eating sushi. I'm like, dude, you're right up the street from us. Like,
yeah,
like, this is crazy that fucking Reacher's
that
in
show
town.
really surprised me.
Right?
A lot. Because I mean, it's got a very, his character reminds me a lot of like a modern Sherlock Holmes. Like he's very,
his IQ in the books is off the charts.
right. So he's like
Mensa.
super smart, but he looks like that, and he's talks really fast, and he's smarter than everyone. And I love any show where there's a character like that.
Right?
Yeah, I fall right for it.
So, Terminal List is Chris Pratt being the most primeval son of a bitch you've ever seen in your life. It's one of the most, if not, I think it's one of the most violent shows I've ever watched.
Wow.
But not gratuitous for no point.
Oh, okay.
It's buried deep in the plot. And it's a man who's had everything taken from him, and he builds a kill list. And
Ooh, it's like a revenge movie.
it's 100% a revenge movie.
I love revenge movies.
It is harder than Kill Bill.
Wow.
And there's a kill scene that had me up the back of the recliner the other night.
Really?
I had to watch it 3 times to make sure, and I was like trying to figure it out, like to see how they did it so well, and it was so grotesque and violent and bloody. But I was like, yeah, no, that's exactly what you do in that situation. And he just basically goes on this rampage. But it's a series of like 5 books written by this ex-Navy SEAL named Jack Carr. Everybody loves it, but the critics hate it because the critics are like, it's too violent.
Right.
And he's like, you're all triggered, right? Like, he's just being a dick about it. Like,
Yeah.
you could say it differently instead of being like, you're fucking triggered, snowflake. But needless to say, Chris Pratt is amazing.
Really? Oh, that's
Amazing.
good. He's gotten a lot of bad. He's like, isn't he like the hated Chris now, or he's like the least something Chris, or?
I don't like the fact that we have to pick out of the 5. I think it's
Why?
the dumbest conversation.
I agree. I know. I just saw that he's been getting a lot of, and then he had an interview, and I think a lot of it was because he kind of went all like born again.
No, well, okay. The thing is, and like everybody always jumps to his rescue, like time and time again. Which you have to say after a while, like they must be saying the same thing. But whenever his religion gets called out, it's like, I think they don't like the fact that he was the chubby guy on Parks and Rec, and now he's the handsome leading man in Hollywood.
Right.
And how he got there.
They liked him initially.
Yeah.
But that only lasts for so long, and then people like to turn on you.
Right?
That's exactly what happens.
Leaving ex-wife, right?
Right. Then getting a new wife and having a new kid, and
specifically a fucking Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And, Shriver's fucking daughter, and like being so red and white and blue, and fucking Chris Pratt. Like it looks on paper as someone you could hate, but they're always like, he doesn't believe in the things that people give him shit for.
No.
And he doesn't promote it. And you know what? Maybe he's at a thing. I can't say. I don't know. But it just, you'd think by now Disney would be like, what the fuck's going on here, man?
And I've loved him in everything he's done except Jurassic World.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's just so miscast in that role, or there's something about like everything he does. I mean, I don't like those movies anyway, but the way he says his lines and stuff, it reminds me of like Star Wars Episode 1. Where you're like, oh, let's take a bunch of amazing actors and give them either terrible dialogue or terrible direction. And then you're like, how can these actors be so stiff and bad? I just remember thinking like, why are you so bad in this? And then I see him something else. I'm like, oh, you're great again. It was just the wrong thing for him.
He doesn't strike me as a dinosaur trainer. And I mean,
Yeah, maybe
who
that's
does?
it. I don't know. No, I don't know.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah. I mean, she can do anything though.
Just be Hella
Yeah.
and just yell at the dinosaurs and cast a fucking
I would have believed like
ancient
the
spell.
raptor guy,
Yeah.
the like clever guy. Like I would have believed him as a
Robert
trainer.
Muldoon.
Right. Like
Right?
he would have been great. Someone in that vein. There was something about him that were like, oh, here's the handsome guy who like, you
the
know,
fucking cuff that they made him
Yeah.
wear. I was like, dude,
like I mean, I could get into a whole thing about why I don't like them, but just like comparing the first one, the only one I really love is the first one, but just comparing like they didn't have a hunky thing and they kind of had a relationship going, but not really. Like they didn't need any of those stupid things.
I would say at the time, Jeff Goldblum pretty hunky.
Well, I mean, yes, I did give my best friend a painted picture of him laying down with his shirt open in that scene, but
to do that pose in a very gratuitous way for Shauna so that she can paint it or take a picture of it and have it painted. Like I'll be very George Costanza, but it'll be me as Ian Malcolm.
You could do it like a mashup.
Yeah. Like
yes,
must go faster.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's fantastic. Watch it if you want like a really hardcore action film. And then Under the Banner of Heaven, which is Andrew Garfield's miniseries.
And
well, this house we are very interested in the saving of young Mormon women who are married off to old perverts. Like, oh
my God, did you watch Eat, Pray,
Yep.
Obey, or whatever it was called?
Yep.
Stay Sweet, Pray and Obey.
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah. There's another one. It's about a 1984 murder that took place.
I have it downloaded actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet because I haven't finished the last 2 episodes of both series. I'm gonna watch them tonight. And I don't know if the new Netflix documentary about a 1984 Mormon murder is the same as this series, because the series is based off a true crime that happened and a book that was written about it.
Oh.
So I think there might be a documentary on Netflix about the scripted story that Under the Banner of Heaven is about, which is about a murder of a mother and her 15-month-old daughter. Throat slit
in like a Mormon sect.
In a Mormon sect in Utah, and Andrew Garfield is a cop, but he's Mormon.
Oh.
And he's torn between
the
Almighty and
like
the rule of law.
That sounds pretty good. I actually also finally watched the Spider-Man movie. Remember last time I was here and everyone had watched it and you guys were like, it's been over months, it's not our fault, because I was like, la la la. But I finally watched it and it's funny because I've never really liked Andrew Garfield. There's something about his face that's I don't know what it is. I've just always, maybe it's his thick hair and I don't know. There's something about him that I was been like, I don't know. And then I watched The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which he was amazing in. And then I saw the Spider-Man movie and I was like, oh, I think you're my favorite Spider-Man in the Spider-Man reverse now.
He's really good in I just remember the one line. You used to take care of me, Tammy.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
What else has he done? He did something else that I was really interested in him in, but he's really great in this.
He's really great. And I would watch that now because I actually really like him.
Sam Worthington's in it. Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's annoying son.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's played like, I'm sure he's such a nice guy, but every role he's played, you just hate him.
Yeah.
But it's about a breakaway couple who get away from everything because they don't want to be a part of it anymore, and these people believe in like the old it combines fundamentalism, combines Mormonism, combines cops, but the cool part of the story is it's very true detective, because Garfield's partner, I don't know the guy's name right now, I'm sorry, but he's a Native American actor. He's been in tons of stuff if you've seen him, and he's fucking amazing. He's in Yellowstone. He's a casino boss. He's a casino boss.
Yeah, he's in everything.
Yeah, okay, so that's who his partner is.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's not Mormon.
So he's got this wholly different perspective of what's going on.
Yeah. So they end up they end up partnering up, but they end up befriending each other and he's more exposed to Mormonism, and he's like, I want to know more about you, and then Garfield opens up to more secular ways. Like it's this dynamic between the two cops doing the.
I didn't know that's what it was about.
Yeah,
I thought it was another one of those like, I don't know, some kid gets a thing and then he goes to heaven or something. And I was like, ugh.
Totally not.
Okay.
A Hallmark film at all.
Oh man, I will totally watch that.
Baby gets its head chopped off.
Oh shit.
You don't see it, but first 30 minutes.
Well, I watched that documentary and I was just like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And
Warren
that's the first thing I
Jeffs is
do.
so fucked up.
Oh my God. Well, and I just watched the Jimmy Savile, a British horror story.
Yeah,
did you watch that too?
I meant to start it.
Yeah, that also like
the radio
was very,
guy.
Yeah, he was like a big BBC. He had a ton of BBC shows, and he had this show called Jimmy'll Fix It, and it was like where he like basically grant wishes for children and stuff. It's very, very disturbing. But the pray to stay sweet, pray and obey is just like, and the worst part is all those people are born into that. Like they don't, because you always go, how can you not know? Like, how do you not know that they're, well, first of all, they're cut off from the world. And then they also are just born into it. And they're like, yeah, like I'm supposed to have like 12 other wives with me. And
the siring of children, I'm like, all right, whatever. You wanna make a fucking football team, do it.
Yeah.
But like the multiple wife thing.
Didn't he have like 84 wives or something like that? Like Warren Jeffs?
Yeah. But Big Love was such a good show.
Right.
Right? But it also plays into how much money and power they have.
Oh my God.
And
how he can just be like the police are after him, so he just like buys like an entire like valley beside a mountain and then starts a new thing. Like,
right?
How do you guys have that much money?
Charity as a church, right?
It's so annoying.
And like it's all off a fucking set of plates.
Mm-hmm.
And a dude who like rode across America and was like, I am a prophet.
Dum 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 dum.
Right? Book of
Yes,
Mormon, right?
I know.
It is the most ridiculous. Like Scientology and Mormonism, while I understand you have a thing, we used to be big in Utah. I'm sure we're not going to be anymore. Utah for like a while was like always listening to us, and we always thought the joke was like one husband and 30 wives. We used to make that joke, and then we'd be like, sorry, Utah. But honestly, Utah, the LDS, okay. Believe in what you want to believe. It does nothing to me.
Yeah.
It's for you, and it's really not hurting anybody.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But the FLDS stuff, or any version of it, in any extreme religious setting, is just mind-boggling to me.
I know. It's when I watched that, I laid in bed and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I remember I watched all those Scientology ones with the girl from
Leah Remini.
Leah Remini.
Yeah.
And I watched those too, and I remember my friend and I would be like, what can we do? Like, there was this feeling of like, how can we help these people that have no idea that like it's not okay to be cut off from your family, and it's not okay to, scrub toilets and make no money for your whole life and be trapped in a building and like,
how do we get you out of that
all your
1,000-year
secrets.
contract?
Yes, like it's and like they don't know the real history of the person that created that religion.
Nope.
They don't know that he was like a science fiction writer and then decided to like have a religion that was like, I mean, it's just I'm sure that if you knew all these things, right, you'd have to know.
Watch The Master.
Okay.
Just what you've seen The Master, haven't you?
No.
The Paul Thomas Anderson like ode to, like, it's Philip Seymour Hoffman being L. Ron Hubbard.
No.
And Joaquin Phoenix comes out of the World War II and he's got PTSD and gravitates towards Scientology. It is the birth of Scientology.
I did not know there was a movie of this nature.
Oh, it'll blow your mind.
Okay. Because I was in a deep.
Amy Adams is.
Oh, is this
Philip Seymour?
how long?
This is old.
Well,
movie.
because he passed away. Yeah.
Mid 2000s.
I worked on Capote when he was here.
Fucking film. Oh, Catherine Renner.
God.
Yeah.
He was amazing in that. Like, I remember he'd, be talking and then he'd be like, because he stayed in character, right? He never left character.
Yeah, I just don't know if you.
The lighting is not right over here. Can someone fix the lighting? Like, it was just so, woo, that he was amazing at it.
We've talked about method acting on the show versus
Yeah,
why there's more men method actors than there's women. It's because it's a fucking penis competition, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, you're right.
And
I mean, I'm 100% not. I took an entire course, actor studio in New York, teacher who, did all that thing, and you're walking around your bedroom with your closed eyes and all these things, and it just didn't work for me. And I also really, really like to have fun on set. I like to go there and I like to make friends with the crew and the cast, and I like to, that's why I go. It's because I really enjoy it, and I don't enjoy staying alone and in my sadness, and like, that's just not for me.
But if the role asked for it, if it helped you get to it.
See, here's the thing. I still think that you can do it and you can use those things, the method. You can go out and research, and if you're going to be a homeless person, you can go out and live with someone on the street for a week. Or you can do all those things, and I think you can pull from them. But I still don't know if you really need to, accent, stay in your accent, all those things. But I still don't think you need to.
Be you with an English accent.
Right. And then when it's time to not be you, don't be you anymore.
Yeah.
And there's some things maybe I would just not do because I didn't want to do that. I'd be like, oh, what does this role call for? Me to be sad and dark and lose, then be 75 pounds or something. I'd be like, you know what? I don't really want to.
Yeah, because you know people who don't do it and have equally great performances who've won the same amount of accolades.
Right.
And like, you know, Oscars were won for Dances with Wolves and Oscars were won for, you know, Heath Ledger and Joker.
Right.
And I mean, Best Picture versus Best Actor, but nonetheless, one didn't go around shooting buffalo to get into character, where one went and lived in loony bins and was on sleep medication and deprived themselves and then died. So,
and then Philip Seymour Hoffman died.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I think being that active in your brain and living as someone else in a dark place, what do you think that's going to do? You think that you're just going to be able to switch that off when you're done? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like,
well, another weird thing, watching Austin Butler come out of go on his media tour for Elvis in the last couple of weeks, right? It finally got fucking quiet on social media. I was so sick and tired of seeing Baz Luhrmann's chest. I was like, fuck, man, button up. Like, you know, Romeo and Juliet, bravo. Maybe not Elvis, but whatever. But like, he's been interviewed saying like, I can't drop the accent, the walk, everything. And I'm like, that is the kind of character that I guess you could do that with.
Right.
But at the same time, like, it's painful to watch him like try to like lose it. And you can see him doing it where like, but it, like he did a Jimmy Fallon dance sequence on the show. He was like, this is how you like turn your
I
hips
did see a clip
saw
of that. Yeah.
He's just standing there and then all of a sudden he turns it on and I'm like, whoa, Elvis. Like, that's a little scary too, because he didn't have the best life choices.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's exactly it. Like when you're playing someone that dark, like he went dark too. Like now I worry for that guy.
Speaking of playing shit, we've gone through a weekly watch list. So you threw on social media a couple, like last week, I think it was, right?
A couple weeks ago, maybe?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. And you were like, I did a movie.
I did.
And I always, I know what you do, but I didn't look at your acting credits. I've always looked at your stunt credits, right?
Yeah, because that's mostly what I do now.
That's mostly what you do now. But you've got both columns very full. So I was like, oh, okay, let's watch this. And fuck, like it's a great Canadian thriller.
Thank you. And it's funny because I have not seen it in. I don't know.
Let me tell you all about it. It's very fresh.
I think we filmed it like 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Like we filmed it and it took, we had a premiere, we had all these things. And then it took a long time, I think, to get it on the service. I honestly didn't even know it was ever going to go anywhere. I just kind of thought, we made this film. I think it was like an indie can. So the budget, I think, that Jenny got for it was, I think, an indie can award or something, right? It was like $20,000 or something. And I honestly thought like we did it. And then I'm like, cool. Like I don't know if anyone will ever see it. And I was always like, is there a place I could get it to show like people that I know?
Yeah. Like put it on a reel or something.
Sure. And I forgot all about it. And it wasn't until like 2 weeks ago. I mean, I didn't forget all about it because every once in a while a memory will pop up and, you know, one of the people in the show will like message us or something. But and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, we've got a streaming service on Tubi. And then it was supposed to be on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't. Like I think it was one of the producers or maybe it was Jenny, but they messaged me and said like, it's on Amazon Prime now. And then I had like 10 messages, people being like, hey, I can't find it. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I can't find it either.
I went to go look for it there first, but then was like, all right, backup's Tubi, whatever. No big deal. But it's an indie darling. It was weird because I couldn't figure it out. And that is a very weird feeling for me where I'm like, I don't know.
That's great. Because I mean, I wouldn't know because I knew all along what was going to happen. And I would never, I didn't think of what it would be like to watch without knowing the ending.
So for everybody, for listener, it's called
A Desperate Road. But do you want to know why it's called A Desperate Road?
Why is it called A Desperate Road?
So the original title for this movie was called Intersection. And you'll know why.
I know exactly why.
And then something just absolutely horrendous and horrible and an awful, awful accident sort of happened. And we lost all the dialogue for the movie. So we spent hours and hours and hours in the studio doing ADR, which also is the same letters for A Desperate Road. So it's kind of funny that that ended up being the title of the movie.
I'm not going to lie. I saw some ADR work, but I didn't think that you did ADR the whole film.
The whole film, which was crazy because you're like trying to, all they had, I think, was the like camera sound. So I think when I went into the studio, I could just hear a little bit of like what I sounded like. And I think it was I don't know if it was a computer crash or a computer stolen or something like that. Like somehow
Fuck.
it happened, and it was, I think it was heartbreaking for everybody. And so we went into a thing, and it was a great learning experience because I didn't know how hard that is. It's very hard to
You
do
have to
ADR.
find your timing that
And you have
had.
to find how you sounded, like how your voice, because sometimes I've gone into an ADR line and I'm listening to myself and then I hear myself in the microphone and it's totally different. Like it's an octave lower and you're like, why is my voice so low today? Like it's crazy. And then, doing the same movements and trying to figure out where your body is doing so it sounds like it's crazy. It's
there's a lot of like really quick cuts in some sequences, so I can't even imagine like trying to have a tussle, right, where and you've got to mimic when that noise was made due to that action in that sequence. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's crazy.
So Desperate Road is about correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure I'm going to be is about a car accident, and a husband loses his wife, and then randomly the next morning that wife is in bed with the husband and she's come back.
True.
All right. The misdirection that takes place, I immediately thought that it was going to be some sort of fantasy in some way, shape, or form, like a Who Shot JR Dallas kind of ending where like it was all a sequence. But then when the accident takes place and you show back up, I'm like, I don't know anymore, and I'm not going to know until the very end. And that's when I like leaned it forward in my chair, and I was like, "Okay, you have my full attention now."
Oh, that's so good.
Because I will tell you, I thought he was dead.
Right. I mean, that's the thing too. I feel like in this day and time when we have seen almost everything, we're just all armchair detectives, and we're all, as soon as something happens,
what's happening next?
you're like,
you're
already trying to figure out the end.
Yeah.
You can't stop yourself. You're already doing it. And I feel like sometimes it ruins movies. And my husband is really good at figuring out what the ending is. Oh, it's so annoying.
I know.
Like when we watched that one with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he's in the jail.
Oh,
He instantly was like, "Oh, I bet he's the crazy one." And I was like, "What?" Yeah, I bet he's the crazy one. I bet like they're putting this on for him.
this whole thing is a ruse.
Why would that be? And then as the movie went on, I'm like, oh my God, he's right, and he's ruined this whole movie for me. So it is kind of hard to fool you now into
100%.
Yeah.
And I don't like and a really good film, good film on all pieces,
yay
doesn't let that happen to you, right?
Good. That means it was a really good film.
Yeah. No, I literally went, what the fuck? That was what happened to me. And it was a physical movement because I was sure, I'm like, okay, no, because Lyle, great
Lyle.
dude, fucking
Yeah. Do you know Lyle?
I don't know Lyle.
Oh, okay.
I just from the film, my first experience with him, but I tagged him on my rant on Instagram the other night. But what I loved about it was like the whole sexy banner in the beginning of it totally disengages you from watching a horror,
Right.
which is not common, right? Like if there's anything, it's going to be an attractive dude or an attractive woman who's caught by themselves and they're murdered by somebody. But the sexual banter back and forth was fun because it gets you involved in these characters because his voice and demeanor and everything changed and I don't, maybe it's the ADR, but I really liked that it turned it into, I think he's dead. He's slower. He's not involved as much.
Right.
When Gwenny.
Yeah.
Right.
Funny.
When Gwenny is like trying to talk to Daddy, I was like, we have our red doorknob. We have our sixth sense, right?
Right.
And I was like, cool. I didn't get it, but I don't want to ruin the movie for you because it's fucking fresh on Tubi. It is not what you seem. That's not what it seems at all.
No, it's totally not. No, it was great. I mean, it was super fun. It was a super fun.
Was it
show to
fun
work on.
to know that like something from the dead, from the past, something that you did all of a sudden has resurgence,
it's
right?
It's crazy. And I watched it. I'm like, oh, wow, 5 years does change a lot. And I was like, oh. But no, it literally today I just went on Tubi when I got home from my stunt rehearsal and I just went through it and I was like, oh my God, yay. And I just kind of swiped right through it just to see, to bring back all the scenes and stuff. And I was like, and we had so much fun. We filmed it out at a cabin in Kenora.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
Was I was like Falcon, West
Yeah, it was
Talk?
like Storm Bay Road, just past Kenora. I think Jenny's friend has a cabin. They live out there. It's their home.
Nice.
And they're just the sweetest people. And so they put the whole crew and cast up in their house, and we slept in the basement on mattresses
That's
and
so
like
much fun.
bedrooms and stuff. It was so much fun. Like one night, Alan Turner, who's the writer.
Yeah.
And I mean, Cameron was there too, the director, and there was a few of us sitting out, and Alan got his guitar out.
He's also got 2 appearances on the show too.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to make 3
really?
suit jackets.
Oh,
one day.
cool. Oh, damn you, Cameron. And then we had a box of wine out one night, and he was playing his guitar, and the boxes of wine are dangerous. You know, you never know how much you've drank. All of a sudden they're just gone.
You just know there's 5 bottles in there.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like, why is this lighter? And then we're sitting outside, and all of a sudden, I think we shot at 11 or something in the morning, and all of a sudden I realized I could see everyone, and I was like, what? Why can't I see it? Oh my God, you guys, the sun is up. Oh my God, the sun is up. Oh my God, the wine box is empty. What have we done? So that was like, you know, it's fun when you actually get to shoot a movie and to have fun while you're doing it and like connect. And I think that's what made the show so good. The connections on the show so good, right? Because Callie's just a little angel, and her and I were just little like besties on the show. And
Oh yeah, the mother-daughter tightness on the show. Like you guys, like everybody has chemistry. And like how, like, okay, so how do you find, because everybody is always, and myself included, like when you see 2 characters in a relationship, there's always talking about chemistry, right? But how do you find chemistry in such a fucking dark setting?
Yeah, it's well, it's funny because the first audition I ever did, I think I just got an email saying there's this thing and you can whatever audition. Pretty sure that's how I first did the audition, and I did an audition, and then I got called back, and they wanted me to do a chemistry audition. So I did one with Adam Hertig, and then I did one with Lyle Morris, and I basically had to make out with them in the audition, like kiss them. And which I've never had to do in an audition before, and they were both great. And then I think Adam had something else he had to do, and I don't know if he was their first choice. I'm not sure. And then Lyle got the part, and I really liked working with Lyle. I've worked with Adam before. We did Wind City together. Okay. Did you ever see Wind City? It's like it's on YouTube. It's a series about.
My comment on my post the other night is genuine in that You get hit with Marvel, you get hit with big tentpole, you get hit with all the big shit, and you know what? Budget does say something, but you can find darlings. You can find these fun little adventures that just because they're not expensive doesn't mean they're not good.
Totally.
And I'm just somebody who's neurodivergent, and it's like, oh, shiny thing, new costume, right? New powers.
Oh, I'm the same. I'm exactly the same way.
But
I almost have to get someone that I know or someone to tell me about a film before I can actually. Why
do you think we have Ian on the fucking show? Like,
right.
We have no culture. We talk about Captain America's ass all day long if Ian didn't have anything to do with us.
Oh my God. Yeah, Ian.
Guys making documentaries on how to live your life through, income and how to balance income and personal wealth and all this shit.
Oh my God. Is he really?
Yeah, they just finished their documentary for Farpoint.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's he traveled to Vietnam, they went to the States, they went out to Vancouver, they talked to different people who save money in different ways and have more of a prosperous life by working in different. It's basically managing wealth and lifestyle.
I'll definitely watch that.
Yeah, no, him and I'm gonna butcher his partner's name. Kwai Long, I think, is who he did work with. Yeah. Sorry if I mispronounced that.
Cool.
So yeah, that just because that was all over Instagram this morning.
Yay.
But
chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry. Yes. So
I knew we'd get back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's and then so it was Lyle and I, and it's the best because Lyle and I have like a brother-sister relationship. We basically I just make fun of him and he like takes it, and like basically the whole time we just had the most fun, I think. Right, Lyle? I don't know. Did you?
Movies like that are fun to make because it's so outlandish, right?
Yeah.
Like what actually takes place is like the odds of this happening.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's crazy, and I mean, it was challenging, but it was also there was so much. I mean, because the film kind of moves in stages, right? There's the sort of what you think is the real world and what you think is after the accident, what all these sort of stages, which I got to like play. So Lisa gets to play this like normal, lovely wife,
yes,
and then she gets to play
jealous,
sort of like
jaded,
jealous,
angry. Like the line where you're like, because there's a moment where Tom has to pick up Lisa.
Yeah.
And it's in Sabrina's truck.
Right.
And Sabrina's the neighbor who Lisa has
who's always looking out the window, staring at her while she's jumping in the lake.
Right.
In her, little bikini and
I think
stuff.
you're jealous of her, not jealous of her and Tom. But anyways, it's her truck. And then you make the line where you're like, you had to use her truck, didn't you? And I was like,
yeah.
Hey.
I know, it's so good. Because you can, like, I've had all those things happen to me. Like, I've been jealous before. Not anymore, but, back in the day.
You've pushed your mock husband down a hill?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was pretty fun, actually.
Did you get to do any stunt work on it?
Well, I mean, no, it was all me. We definitely didn't have a stunt team. But this was also before... Oh, God, maybe it's longer than I think it was. It's got to be longer than I think it was. Because I wasn't really doing much stunts then. I maybe had done a couple in a couple of films. And we definitely didn't have a budget to have stunt people. So if there is any, it definitely was us. But that was the first time I ever like, God, yeah, this is going back a while because the drone was Casey Harrison's drone, who works on set, who's a camera.
We like drones
camera
in this
up.
house.
And there's one right there. And it made the things that drones can do to indies now is crazy because I remember the first time I worked on a movie with a helicopter and it had a big budget and it was like, oh my God, there's a helicopter here. Because to get those shots, you needed to have a budget for a helicopter. And now you can just get a drone and you can turn an indie can $20,000 film into something that you're like, holy crap, that's a cool shot because you just had a drone.
You can replace a lot of the bought footage, like the filler footage, where if you need an exterior office building shot, you can go do an exterior office building shot in 20 minutes.
Absolutely.
And it's 1080. It's crystal fucking. It's 4K if you've got the proper drone. I'm 1080. I'm low end, but like, it's still actually no. That does shoot in 4K, so it transfers through. I'll show you shots after. Like,
it's amazing though. It's just changed the quality of low budget filmmaking.
Yeah.
Because you like all those sweeping vistas of like over a lake and stuff. Like you couldn't have those in little. I mean, I'm sure that even when I went to UW Film School, like I'm sure the film school people are like killing it now with their little 5-minute films. Like,
oh, totally. We rent drones at my company. Like,
so cool.
And the survey work that you can do with drones these days,
man.
like if you want to find out if you can shoot in a remote location, you could send a drone out and survey it and get a 3D image and send it back to the studio, and the studio could be like, okay, we're going to shoot from here and we want to get a camera here so that we can capture what's going on here. So you can actually prep where you're going to place your cameras, 3D imaging in real time, and then go to your location and put your cameras up there, and then you're like, okay, yeah, we're good, because we know where our sight lines are from. It's ridiculous.
I know, it's just amazing. Just that little thing over there that looks like the little operated things that my roommate and I used to fly around and then hit the popcorn ceiling. And
that thing almost took on my power the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot what was up and what was right.
Oh, no.
So I went up instead of right because I was trying to go right then to go up because I knew the drone was hovering right above the line, and I like half an inch short.
Oh, my God.
And like Shauna was on the deck, and I'm like, did you see that? Because I don't want to hear about it.
Oh, my God.
I don't think you saw that because she didn't say anything.
That's so cool.
So I was just like, and then I just threw it on the ground and was like, fuck.
That's amazing.
So the last thing you want is you cause
your
power outage
of course
with your
not.
fucking drone.
No, that would be very embarrassing also. For the hydro guy.
Did you know the ending?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I knew the ending.
Okay.
I think it was important just for my character because she has so many stages, like I said. Like,
so you'd have to be aware
I'd have to kind of know. I mean, but it was great because once I knew them, then you get to think about what the audience thinks of you, and you have to try to think of, okay, well, I'm, if I'm trying to make them think I'm concerned and not creepy, or trying to think maybe I'm trying to convince them that I am creepy. Like, these are all things that get to like
put a button on you. I couldn't. I thought he was dead. I thought you were dead. I thought you were like victim. He was a victim of his imagination. Right. And then the parents show up, and you're just like, okay. Like, there's another level to this. Are these people real? And you're not real.
Right.
And he's trying to. Your mom and dad is trying to tell Tom that this isn't real, and you're seeing shit. But then,
is he crazy? Am I crazy? I know.
Yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah. No, it was really. I got to do a lot of fun things in that show.
The manic shit that Cam did with the way the accident plays out inside the movie.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Like that's some Nolan shit, playing with time, where like the event and the plot is happening, but the subplot is filling in the gaps.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Right. And that's I like that, because you see a brief car accident and then you see a longer shot of it.
Yeah.
And then by the end, all those fragmented,
all the little pieces come together.
Yeah,
and you
like
kind of know what happens.
It's like he took the whole shot and then cut it up and then just spliced it in throughout the film.
Totally.
And you were like, okay, backwards, forwards, callback. Okay.
And that's also fun because I love like that that was one of my favorite scenes, because I just love when I get to have fake blood all over me. I don't know why. I'm just like, is this where I get to have fake blood all over me? Like, think that was like a thing I didn't know.
Isn't it like fuck you up though? Like,
no,
like the sight of blood?
No, not me. No, I love it. Like when I was on Violent Night, I got squibbed, and that was the first time I ever got squibbed, which was really cool because I was kind of nervous. I was like, I watched squib compilations on YouTube, which is also hilarious if you ever want just to watch people get squibbed. And then I was there, and unluckily he's a stunt rigger from, and he's also a stunt man, but from Toronto, named Danny Boney. He was there, and he's just the cool as a cucumber because he's been doing this for so much longer than me, and he's sitting there reading the newspaper in his security guard outfit, and I was just like, yeah, it's my first time being squibbed, and he was like, really? I'm like, yeah, like I'm getting to know, and he was just so cool. He's like, yeah, just react to the first one, and blah blah blah, and he just talked me through it, and I was like, okay, cool, I feel much better about this. And then when it actually came time for the actual squibs, we did a VFX version, right, where I just had to go boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
And then when the squibs exploded, I was just like, again. And then they're like, no, your costume's ruined, and that was great, so goodbye. But I was like, oh, it was very fun.
Is
I was
powerful?
just covered. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like as soon as they start exploding, you're just, because there's these metal plates sort of, and then there's the squib, and as soon as the first one goes, yeah, your kind of shoulder gets thrown back, and then the other ones just go, and it's
I'm wondering if it's adding to your performance.
Oh, it was way better than the VFX. I was like, yeah, give me the real squibs all day.
Yeah, like I can imagine, like I can't time
Yeah.
what it's going to be like without feeling it, and that would... I ate chicken nuggets recently in a film. I'm gonna have one credit. I don't know why I'm telling you this right now, but me and Jimmy did a thing with Darcy Waite.
Yeah.
It's coming out in the fall, and it's for Netflix's YouTube channel. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't know how much I can say, but I can always edit this out after. It's a documentary about a politician who used to work at McDonald's. And when he worked at McDonald's,
and
this
is an actual documentary, or like,
okay. So we're the reenactment guys.
Did you get to eat chicken nuggets?
Oh yeah, I ate a lot of chicken nuggets that afternoon. Good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Darcy's cool shit too. He's coming on the show soon. So, we heard the story, and the story was this politician now used to work at McDonald's, and every time someone ordered a 10-piece, he would try to do his humanly duty and put 11 nuggets in it. Right. And like tweeted a couple years ago that he used to do this, and it blew the fuck up. And this is the story of,
oh my God, I love it.
This guy, his one tweet about what he used to do and like, giving back to humanity and all that stuff. I don't know much about it. I just was told to show up, and in a backyard in Transcona earlier in the summer, me and Jimmy sat there acting like we found the 11th nugget.
Oh my God, sweet.
And like cheersing the nuggets.
I love that there's gonna be a movie about chicken McNuggets.
Yeah, and there's like slow-mo dunk shots of us like doing a dunk and like just like loving it.
Did you actually like? And so those were all real nuggets. You got to eat those.
Yeah. Like Craft Services was there with like 3 bags of food.
Oh my God, yes, that's my I love chicken nuggets, but I when I think I was like 15 or something, I ate 20-piece nuggets, and my friend was like, I said, oh, I could eat another 20. She's like, you're not so full. I'm like, no. And she's like, okay, I'll go buy you another one. And then it got to like 40, and then she bought me another 9-piece, and I ended up eating like 47 nuggets or something. And that's
crazy.
I know. I like absolutely love him. And the guy that we used to buy weed off when we were like teenagers, he got fired from McDonald's, and so he stole like 4 boxes of chicken McNuggets.
Yeah, he did.
So when you'd go over there, you'd like get high with him, and you'd sit around, and then you'd be like, so, like, are you gonna drop some chicken nuggets? Like, everyone just went over there and stayed longer than they should because they were all like, when are we gonna get those free nuggets?
Yeah, dude, I just paid you. Like, give me some chicken nuggets.
They were so good.
But I'm gonna have. I'll have.
Oh my God, that's very exciting. You're gonna be on the IMDb.
We'll have a credit. Me and Jimmy will have.
Very
which is
cool.
Stupid. Like,
no, it's not.
I know
that's
it's not. But like, I'm glad it's just in a short.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And it's also on Netflix's YouTube channel. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
and what was funny in that Darcy, we didn't tell Darcy until we saw him, was that like he texted Jimmy and me independently, not together. But I had messaged him with Jimmy. I emailed him and was like, do you want to come on the show? I want to talk to you about all the stuff you're doing with like the Indigenous game show that he's doing and acting good and everything, like all that stuff. With Rablowskis and everything, who's fucking hilarious. So he knew me and Jimmy were on a show together, but he didn't tell me and Jimmy that we
you guys were going to be together.
So me and Jimmy were out for drinks, like Zoe, Jimmy, me, and Shauna. And I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? And he's like, I'm in this documentary about chicken nuggets. I'm like, so am I. I was like, I shouldn't have said anything and just shown up and been like, what's up, buddy?
What's it going to be called? Is it called Chicken Nuggets?
I don't know what the title is.
Okay, well, you're going to have to let us all know.
I just had to sign all the forms that Netflix asked them to sign. Like,
yeah, right.
I
know.
And I'm like, whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, I ate chicken nuggets and I made my eyes roll when I ate them. So
that's every time I work on a show now, I'm like, the only people in my life that know what I'm doing are pretty much people at my house. But I'm always like, how much can I say? I never know, so I just don't say anything.
Yeah, like we didn't sign an NDA. Again, I can also edit this out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's
very cool.
Yeah,
I look forward to that.
I thought like because he didn't tell us what it was until we got there and we were doing it, and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. Like this is like human joy shit, right?
It's so cool.
It's like a feel good story. It's not bad news.
Yeah,
It's not pandemic shit. It's not Russia shit, Ukraine shit.
No,
it's not all the bad things in the world. It's just like
it's like about a guy that just wanted everyone to have an extra nugget.
Yeah, and he's a politician, which is even better because it's like, oh, good people.
Maybe he would have been a good like. He was probably better than the rest of them.
Good guy made it all the way to the top.
Yeah.
By giving you one chicken nugget.
I
at
love
a time.
that story.
Right?
I look forward to seeing that.
What's this do to you? Like, I'll rephrase that. Like, how do you find a character like this? Like because like I would imagine. With my limited imagination on this topic, I would imagine that things that are more upbeat and fun and things that you can like take your personality that you're normally like and put them into. Easy day at the office.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But these things,
true.
Horrors, thrillers, like I remember.
And it's crazy because I've been doing those so my brother and I both took UW like film together. So I was always his like screaming like heroine in all his, because all he did was horror movies. I still have a copy
Were you a final girl?
Of Floor 19 because we lived on the 19th floor of our apartment. And my brother would always be like, I'd be, like screaming, kicking, and then we'd watch the shot and I'd be like, oh, you can see my white underwear under that black script. He's like, we'll leave it in. I mean, I know what the audience wants. Like he was like that kind. He would just like push me to the edge of like, screaming and comfort. Yeah. So I'm very used to doing the like screamy horror things, and then also when I do stunt rehearsals, that's all I do. It's
grunting,
just like
groaning.
screaming and like. So and obviously, it's way more fun to just do. It's so easy. It's just like, you're just doing comedy. But when you do this, I always think of like, what's the character like at the beginning and what's their arc at the end, and then you just kind of have to fill it all in. You're like, in theater school we used to break down every line, which I've always thought is just too much. Like, it's too much breaking down every line of what your action is. I know there's an action for every line you say, but you're not always thinking about it. I think, a scene or a thing, you can go, what's my action? Am I trying to seduce you? Am I trying to get you to, you know what I mean? Like, so if you have one for like, a section of a scene and what you're playing, then that's kind of, you do that and figure out what you want at the end of every scene. And that's sort of how I do it. And like with Lisa, it was fun because she had so many different personalities to play. She's like all of, she's every like,
box you tick.
Happy mom. She's like happy wife. And then she's like creepy woman who doesn't want you to talk to your doctor. And then she's jumping out of trucks.
Stop staring at the neighbor.
Yeah. She's got all these things going on. So
yeah. And then saying like the things that she says too, where she's like, you knew this would be hard when we got home. And I was just like, I'm like, what kind of what conversation are we having here? Are we having a conversation about a figment of his imagination, or is this actually happening? Because it was all like fragmented parts of the full story.
Totally.
Right.
Oh yeah. No, it was fun. It was a journey. And I got to do, like I've always found, the crying thing, the like getting to that place where you're genuinely sad and like you're in that scene is always, I think those scenes are the hardest. And I think that any actor that says that it's not that it's hard to get crying, it's hard to stay there for like takes and setups and going into a hallway with your headphones on and trying to keep yourself in this sort of space. And that's what I always imagine it would be so hard to be one of those method actors, because just even doing that for an hour and then going back into set and being like, okay, let's go, like, is so hard.
Well, and that's the work.
Yeah.
And that's also where like you always hear about, like, you know, don't talk to the talent. There's a reason.
Right.
There's a fucking reason. And it's not because they're better than you. It's because they're in a place that you're not in. And the place you're in is fandom boy, fandom girl.
Right.
The place they're in is some shitty, dark fucking hole of a character.
Yes.
That they're being paid to stay in.
Yeah.
I can't do that, right? I mean, I can be an idiot. And I can do funny, dumb shit.
And,
but
there's a time and a place too for
lunch.
Absolutely, for talking to the talent, or like you're sitting around the green room.
Yeah.
And they're also engaging with you.
Yeah.
And usually, like, if you see an actor and they've got headphones on and their face is red, probably don't talk to them. You know, like there's a time and a place, obviously, but you're right. They're doing work. You're working hard. And I've always said this, like, I used to think I'd kind of get mad when I first started working on set about actors. Like when I was like doing full-time stand-in work, I would get mad because these actors walk around with umbrellas and they are treated differently, but they're also wearing wigs and they've got their hair done, and so like everything's sort of explained when you think about why they're getting this sort of special attention. But then I'd see, you know, the grips outside and they've got icicles hanging off their beards and it's -40, and I'm like, what? Like, and then an actor walks in and she's like been in her trailer for 5 hours. She's like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, when are we filming? And you kind of want to go, have you not looked around at you, like the people around you? And so there's
that's just a lack of being self-aware.
That's also,
I think.
I agree. But then there's a difference where they are working hard. I've definitely worked on shows. Like, what was that one called? Like Wild Cherry. Like, I've worked on shows where the actors are just fucking around, where they don't, they're just kids and they're having a good time, and they know this is a stupid like teen movie and they don't care about it. But most of the time they are working hard. We just don't see it, because when you're in your trailer and you've got a couple lines and you're alone, you are a bit like stressed out and it's just you. And I find one of the reasons that I really love doing stunt work is because I have a team. And I feel like when I used to do those like 2-liners in TV shows or whatever, that you are very isolated. And if you're not a main cast member, you're definitely like, especially I'm talking to all those Manitoba day actors, like we get a lot of work here now, but sometimes it's lonely if you're on set and you don't know anyone and you're not part of this everyday crew that's hanging out and you're just in your trailer.
Yeah. And
so I just love doing stunts because we're all a team. We're texting each other. Who's got the cards? If we've got a long day and our scenes last, or it's so nice because it can be very,
Well, I would imagine so, and that's the above the line, below the line mentality, right?
Yeah.
If you were on the lam for $170 to $250 million, keeping that person in that moment is life or death to the asses in the seats at the end. It's putting you there or not, right?
And I feel like something's happened. I remember a time more when directors really like took time with actors on set, and I don't know if it's like budget, let's go, or something, but I feel like it's less. Like I feel like with a lot of the things going on, it's like,
you mean like a walk and talk with Nolan versus like, come on, next scenes, back to ones.
And it could also just be some of the things. I mean, the show I'm working on right now, the director's great. What am I working on right now? Safe Haven.
Okay.
He's very like talking to the actors, and I actually haven't
Here's what
seen
I want.
that in a while.
Here's what we're trying to
and he'll talk through a scene, especially if it's the lead actress and she's alone somewhere and she's he's,
that's art.
Right, like
versus commerce.
He's like, okay, now like you're seeing this and you're doing that, and I feel like it's been I haven't seen that in a while. I feel like it's been very okay. I think so. It's one more take this time. Look over. It's I don't know. They're just because we're doing
pulling the taffy, right?
I don't know.
Like it is. Oh well, it's budget because what runs it all.
Yeah.
Right. So if you don't have those $250 million budgets,
totally. And I think too, like
that's in the budget.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna take 20 minutes to
Right.
figure this out. We have money for this time off of camera where nothing's rolling.
For sure.
Right. that's what 250 million gets you. Where like 70 million, we are spending right now physically.
Yeah, there's like an 80 like
right?
breathing down your neck, going, "Hurry up, let's go."
And
We
to
don't have
somebody
time
who
for this.
doesn't
let's get
think
the shot. Yeah,
70 million is a lot of money. Like that's an independent these days.
yeah,
Right?
I know. Isn't that crazy?
They used to be 20.
Oh my god.
Right, and like indie darlings, a million or less.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
like, but nowadays, like a really true independent's like 30, 40 million.
I can't even think about what kind of movie I'd make for $1 million. Like like that's not a lot of money.
A24
anymore.
does a good job.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I don't think they're getting north of 100, but whatever they get, they
Yeah,
pump out really good shit.
yeah.
I was gonna say, Cameron's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like working on set with him?
Oh, it's great. Oh, he's
Does he
one of
drum?
those- I've definitely heard him drum. I think we had a rehearsal at his house where we made him drum, and show us all
Just
his
imagine
drum
him
things.
sitting there like in the back of the chair, like,
Right, just being
fucking
like,
around with
"This is
sticks.
great."
Yeah.
No, he's awesome to work with. He is like an actor's director, right? That's
Yeah.
That's
I've talked to him a couple
Yeah.
times. He's friends with Steve Taylor.
Yes,
he's
right.
in our circle.
yeah. He
I've had
totally
I had
is-
barbecues with him for like 4 years.
Oh, really?
Before I ever said a word to him, and then Steve was like, "You should talk to Cam." Like,
Oh, he's so great, and I was so thankful that he wanted to cast me, because I know there was a bunch of other people that were working so much more than me in the like Manitoba film industry as actors, and so when he cast me, I was just like, me? But those people, they work more than me. I was just like, thank you so much. And yeah, he was fun. He let us do, like, he had deep conversations with us about our character, and he was very invested in it. And no, he was awesome.
yeah,
so
that's
fun.
what you. I mean, my few sequences that I had with Darcy, but he was like, "Okay, this is what I want you to do," and I was like, "I don't know what to fucking do." Like, I'm overthinking eating chicken nuggets.
Right.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
reevaluating how I eat right now for this
Totally.
shot. Like, that's what I do, right?
It's so weird when you start to like think about that. Someone was like, "Hey, we need a hand double for the lead. Can you send me a picture of your hands?" And you take a picture of your hands, and you're like, did you know hands are really weird? And like
Yeah.
you start looking at your hands, you're like, oh my god, my hands are ugly. Oh my god. And then you start taking pictures of other people's hands to see, and you're like, all our hands are ugly. Like, you just overthink everything.
Through the lens of anything, you're completely changed. Like, what is
Totally.
it to film? To film a thing is to change it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Because as soon as any of us know we're on camera, we become a fucking well, we don't all become Kardashians, but like, that's what happens. It's like, hey, you're on camera. Oh, everything's to 11, right?
Right. 11.
Turn it up to 11. So yeah, can you talk about Safe Haven at all, or is that?
I mean, I could talk about how fun it's been and
Yeah.
what we've got to do, like just like stunt team, we've got to do I've got
What
to
kind
do
of
some
movie is
really
it?
fun things. It's a series.
Oh, it is.
So I think the series wraps up at the end of mid-August. We wrap up this block, but then the first season films on till September. So it's quite a big. I think there's 10 episodes. It's a big show. I think
I
it's
thought it was
Crackle.
a film.
No,
Really?
I think
Crackle?
it's
Really?
Crackle. Yeah.
Crackle's still pumping out shit.
Yes, I think it's Crackle. But it's got a pretty big budget. The sets are really cool. It's dark. It's super dark. I'm not sure how much I can say about the plot, but there's a few strangery things kind of that remind me of it. Like when I'm on set, it's a bit of that.
Who's the lead?
Her name is Georgie.
Okay.
And she's, I IMDb'd her. You'll have to IMDb her because
Yeah.
when I looked at her first picture, she's only done a few things and she is just the sweetest. Like she is, as soon as I met her, we had to do this was doing an underwater stunt, and she just gung-ho, such a cool chick. And then locals, like so many they cast so many locals because it's like all a younger cast.
Oh, okay.
But every time I'm on set, I'm like oh man,
YA
like,
kind of thing?
I'm like,
Young
oh
adult?
hi, like and they're like, have I worked with you on anything? And they're like, oh, I've only done Dark Harvest or something. And so like they're like tons of local kids.
Is it Canadian or are we just a backdrop?
Oh god, I don't know all these answers.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been like lots of stunts. Like I get beaten up a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm the lead's double, so I'm just like getting thrown around and beat up, and like it's great. It's great.
I need to come down and see that sometime just to see how it all. Like I was watching a TikTok clip before you got here of everybody getting ready for The Matrix, the first one.
Oh, yeah.
And working with the kung fu master that taught them everything. And he was dissecting Carrie and Lawrence and Keanu and just explaining how they each came to their best selves with martial arts. And like 6 days a week is what they would work. And Keanu would always ask for Sunday privately so that he could work one-on-one with him. Lawrence could do backflips and hops and bounces better than anybody he'd ever seen. And Carrie was just like, she's a force, like her power, right? And he just talks about
that's so cool.
In Japanese, he's just subtitled.
See, I mean, that's my dream. We started, Kristen and I started dropping in on Taekwondo places, trying to find a good spot because we really want to know. I mean, Rick Skeen has sort of said, like, we're getting these big shows now, and you should know how to do a roundhouse perfectly, and you should know. And I was like, you're totally right.
Side
like that's
kick, push kick,
all those things, right?
Stuff,
like basic stuff that you should know how to do when people come here, and they're the guys who did John Wick. Like, you should know how to do this. And we went there, and I was like, this is hard. And it's hard too when you're in a class and you're getting in there and there are black belts in there and you're just kicking with them. And I was like, I almost need that like Sunday Keanu Reeves attention, like to get better, right?
Sure,
like,
yeah. Oh, he was just so fucking locked in. He said, and like you just see him doing all like the
I know
the
he always
poses,
looked so cool doing it.
Oh my god,
I know it's amazing. Did I ever tell you my Keanu Reeves dream?
No.
Okay, I'll tell it to you.
Was it while he was filming here?
No, it was. I had a dream that I was in the Matrix, the new Matrix, and then
the bad Matrix.
And then I didn't see it. So then I went out to a restaurant and I see that the crew and the cast are there, and I was like, "What's that? What's this?" And they're like, "Oh, we didn't tell you. There's a crew party." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know this." And then Keanu was like, "It's all good. I got a candle for you. We're gonna do this candle walk down the street." And I was like, "Cool." So then we walked down the street with these candles, but for some reason it was like Keanu circa like Bill and Ted. And then he was
something
like,
strange is afoot at the Circle K.
And then he's like, "Come up to my house. I've got something to show you." And I'm like, "Okay." So we go up to his place, and he lives in this weird attic space, and there's something like rolled up, like you'd roll up a map on the wall. And I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "I made this for you." And he unrolls it, and it's like a hand woven like Persian rug. And I was like, "You made this?" He's like, "For you." And I was like, this is really weird. And then my husband woke me up, and I was like, "No, oh man, I was just, I'm pretty sure that Keanu Reeves was just in love with me, and like, not now, Keanu Reeves, like that. Oh, I'm so mad at you." And for like the rest of the morning, I was just like,
really wanted you to say that it was a map on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
oh my god, I could have taken a weird turn, but
and
weird
then all
enough.
Of a sudden Nick Cage
but the
shows
fact
up.
that he wove me a Persian rug was also very strange.
Way better gift.
Yeah, but then I was
gift.
just, I'll never know what Keanu. And I think he was he lifted up a piece of it and he put it under my like chest, and then he kind of started like groping me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of not mad about this." And then my husband woke me up, and that's when I was real mad.
I wanted to go back in time with Bill.
Take me back. Where's the phone booth?
Krystal, this has been a blast.
So fun.
Well,
love
obviously-
coming down here because I mean I love chatting about movies all the time, and
Yeah, no
when you
shit.
actually find someone that wants to talk about them, I mean no wonder you have this amazing podcast, because
Well, thank you.
I try to do this with everybody, and sometimes people are in and sometimes people are like, ugh.
Keep telling all your friends there's a home here in this basement.
Yeah.
BJ, if you're listening to this
BJ,
episode.
oh my god, I forgot to give you BJ was like, "Can you please tell him that like I'm so busy and I will account for the fact that like," I said to BJ, can we go to a movie? And I was like, "You should go to a movie with me," because I don't have any like nerdy friends to go to movies with. My nerdy friend kind of, he moved to Berlin, and BJ's like, "Yeah," he's like, I don't have time. Like he has no time.
I know he has no time.
Which is great.
Yeah.
He's so busy. And then he's got the 2 kids now, and like he's Papa.
Yeah.
Papa.
Needs to take a break and have some
Yes.
time.
He really does, because he's amazing. If you guys don't know BJ Vero, ridiculous filmmaker.
Yeah.
I was at the same like a UW film school
Oh,
at
really?
the
You
same
guys
time as
were,
he
so
was.
were there?
And I remember when he did, I think it was Echoes in the Ice was his like short.
Yep.
And
With Stephen Eric McIntyre, right?
And I walked around that UW Film Festival. I think I was like real drunk, but I was like, "You guys gotta vote for this movie. It's the best. BJ's the best." And like
And Darcy Fair was in that too.
I'm just to see him grow. Oh, it's just amazing. The Return. If you haven't seen The Return,
Well, I won't watch it until
He comes here?
I won't watch it
Okay.
until I get him on the show.
okay, that's a good idea.
It's gotten to the point where I'm like, I won't watch your film until you're willing to talk about it with me, because I don't want to watch
It's
it.
so good,
and I know
it's
love
so
it.
good.
I've known BJ since we were in grade 10.
Oh wow, really?
We were in musical.
Was he
theater
exactly the
together.
same?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the nicest.
I knew him when he played Conrad Birdie in Bye Bye Birdie.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
BJ,
Like,
I didn't
I have,
know this.
I have pictures of him as an Elvis like character in a
What?
musical about.
Stop.
Yeah.
Do you have them here? Can we look at them after?
No, I got to go to they're at my mom's.
Oh, okay, well, we'll find them later.
I'll get them for you. I know I have them somewhere.
Well, I'm glad because now this is really going to get BJ on the show. I actually was in the return. I did some stunts on
Nice.
it. Dragged down some stairs and stuff, and it was like 2 days before my wedding, and my husband was so mad. He's like, "What's the stunt?" And he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Look, the best makeup people in the biz they're not going to let me come with a rash down my,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he was not happy that I did that. I'm like, you've chosen this life, and in 2 days you're locked in.
No, it's fine. I know he's super busy, so
Yeah.
that's fine. You get a pass, my
Yeah,
friend.
you should have seen his sad look today when I was like, "Oh, we're doing the podcast night," and he was just like, "I'm." Can you tell him I'm like, I know, BJ. It was very
totally
cute.
fine. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, you can find A Desperate Road, ADR. I love that. That's so brilliant. On Tubi for sure. If you want to watch it. It's an hour and 20
It's
minutes.
great. It's super. It's a good. I
yeah.
think it's great. Honestly.
It was fun. It'll make you think, right? Like it's and it's original until it's not, and then you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So do it, and that's another episode. You should click the link in our bio for all of our information. We're gonna be doing movies in the park August 5th and August 19th.
Yay!
You will want to bring the husband down. We're gonna be sitting in Assiniboine Park with the show.
Oh my god, I love movies in the park.
So
Remember when they used to do it on Memorial?
Yeah.
I used to go every Wednesday.
Yep. No, we did that when I lived on the Roslyn there. But we have Sing 2 and the Eternals one night.
Oh, I haven't seen the Eternals yet.
And then Moana and Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, I would watch both of those again.
Yeah. So.
There's gonna be a lot of kids dancing.
Yeah. Which, when we do it, if you see us there,
You will also be dancing?
No, I'll be talking to.
Will you be dressed up as Maui?
No. No, that's indecent exposure. We will be doing those if you see us and you want to come over and be like, hey, yeah, I love Moana and this is why, and we'll talk to you about it on the show.
Cool.
We'll have a microphone open for people and
Oh,
stuff
that's
like that.
fun.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
We're like the community podcast. There's a fucking melting pot of idiots of us, and then the more it's just fun to talk to people.
And you never know who you'll discover.
Exactly, or when we get discovered. Either way, that's where we'll be. Link in bio for the rest of that shit. I have been Michael Petrow. My guest has been
Krystal Snow.
And watch all the movies, watch all the TV. Bye, kids. Say bye. Bye. Boom.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, another Real Debaters production is in the can. Thank you so much for listening. If this is your first, second, third, fifth, 20th time, thank you so much. But thank you to the first timers, the ones here who pressed play for the first time and took a gamble on us. If you like what you heard today, the easiest thing to support the show is just to subscribe. Hit the like button, the follow button, whatever's in your podcast player. Make it so that we're always there every Wednesday for you, okay? That would be huge. If you want to stay in touch with us, if you want to follow us, there's a couple ways to do that. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're slowly migrating to YouTube by putting all of the things we've ever put on video onto that site. There's some surprises coming this year that happened a while ago, but I felt needed to be shared because they're part of the Debaterverse. So the YouTube page is coming. But if you want to follow us, it's at Real Debaters Pod on Twitter and Instagram. It's the Real Debaters Podcast on TikTok. All of the links, all of the one-click away things are in the show notes that you've just listened to. So if you want to follow us there, that would be great too, because then you get to stay in the know of all the things that we do and what we're going to try to do this year and what we've done in the past, so on and so forth. So that's how you stay in touch with us. If you want to contact us, it's therealdebaters@gmail.com. All the spelling for all these things is REEL to keep with the title of the show. So that you can send an email to us there. request an episode, want to call out one of us for being a goofball, there's places to do that as well too. Like the Real Debaters website. You can email us, or you can go straight to the website, rate us in Podchaser, realdebaters.ca. And if you really, really liked what you heard and you want to support the show in some fashion that requires you spending money, well, we got a couple ways for you to do that as well too. You can buy our merch at the Prop Shop. It's a store through Threadless, and it's online, and you can order stuff. We've got tons of stuff. We've got our Mass Debater wear there. It's our signature, original, and only line. It's our logo on everything. So you can support us that way. Go to the merch tab in the show notes. Or if you just got $1 and you're like, hey, I want to give you $1 and donate it to your cause, there is a tab in the show notes as well too that says donate to the Debaterverse, I think. And if you click on that, it takes you to a donation page where you can donate like $1, $3, and $5, and you'll get something for your $1, $3, or $5. Any more than that's just ludicrous. Luda. So, that's just kind of what I wanted to tell you. That what I said at the end of the show. This is what you should listen to, because this is all about who we are, and now that we've gotten to where we are, we want to interact with you guys more. So these are the ways to do so. This is the way to stay in touch with us. Thank you to everybody, again, who's listened to the show. Again, you pressed play. You took a chance. That's cool. So without further ado, this is where I said I would talk more. So it's eggs on your face. No, I got nothing else for you. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. And watch all them fucking movies. Bye-bye.